Welcome to this presentation on the subject of the puppy or pup identity, which Liam Wignall, an academic from the University of Sunderland, describes as a kinky sexual subculture. This presentation was made in the spring of 2018, and the ideas presented here will be relevant to this time. If you are viewing this in the future, ideas and practices may have changed. This presentation is intended to be a resource for clinicians working with someone who identifies as a puppy or for whom engaging in the pup subculture is part of their life. The intention is to give some background information into what being a pup might mean to your client. I would really like to thank the pups who gave their time in answering my questions and sent images for illustration. The quotes and pictures on my slides come from these generous individuals, although the quotes and images on the slides are not necessarily from the same person. As well as gathering information from personal communications with self-identified pups, I have read Liam Wignall and Mark McCormack's 2015 paper on an exploratory study of a new kink activity, pup play, and Liam Wignall's 2017 paper, The Sexual Use of a Social Networking Site, Pup Twitter. I have also read the very informative Leash Scene Volume 1, edited by Pup Silver and Pup Pixel. In the words of Wignall and McCormack, in their 2015 paper, pup play is described as a socio-sexual behaviour and a kinky sexual activity where individuals adopt a submissive role, imitate the posture of a dog, and wear gear associated with owning a dog. Some people describe it as a kink and others as a lifestyle, and being a puppy may be part of a wider kink lifestyle. The pup identity has mainly been associated with the gay and bisexual male community, but there are also puppies of other genders. Puppies will usually have an owner or handler, and I will discuss this later in the presentation. Pups are different from furries in that furries identify more with the animal they are role-playing and the aesthetic aspects of that animal, and pup play is more related to adopting a submissive role. It might also be worth mentioning for clarity that community websites state that pup play does not involve sex with real animals nor the desire to do so. The sexual aspect to the identity is important for most pups, but there's also a strong social side, with social events organised for people to engage in pup play and meet other pups. These events may have more of an emphasis on the social aspects, or sexual, or both. Pup Social offer events that are either male only or mixed genders. Kennel Club in Manchester promises to be welcoming to all and judgment free, and Pup Out London organise lots of social events. Pup Social will run pop-up events, so people don't necessarily need to travel to the big cities to get involved. There are annual competitions, Mr. and Miss Pup UK, and international versions too. Social media sites such as Tumblr and particularly Twitter are used to meet, make friends, flirt and organise events and hookups. People may get into being a pup by meeting others who are into pup play, or by encountering it in a more general kink social event, on a gay social networking site, or from watching pornography or images on websites such as Tumblr. Pup play is classified as a kink. Wignall and McCormack define kink as a collection of activities that involve the mutually consensual and conscious use among two or more people of pain, power, perceptions about power, or any combination thereof for the psychological, emotional, or sensory pleasure. So pup play is a sexual, social, and leisure activity. In private spaces or in social hangouts, pups engage in pup play, which involves role-playing the behaviour of a dog or, perhaps more specifically, a puppy. Pups might play games of catching balls, fetch, having their head or belly rubbed, biting and licking, and making a variety of dog-like noises. There is likely to be an area with padded mats to protect knees and balls and ropes to play with, and possibly a ball pit to play in. Not everyone will engage in every type of behaviour. Pups will move about on all fours and, if they have one, wag their tail. Several pups getting together to play may be referred to as pupping out together. Cuddling may be an important factor, with several pups cuddling or curling up in a cuddle pile. Some pups emphasise the playful nature of being a pup and enjoy imitating how they think a pup would behave. Others talk about the behaviour coming from a more instinctual place. Pup play is often described as fun and exciting, where intimacy, relaxation and social play are important. The emphasis is on a fun and carefree existence, often with a sexual component. Pups talk about pup headspace as being a central reason for engaging in pup play. It has been described as a basic mindset where you forget or ignore the human thinking part of the brain and go more instinctual, an escape from the world. Other terms used might be pupping out, pup space, pup brain, or pup mode. Some pups describe pup space as being similar to subspace, an entirely in-the-moment consciousness where you are completely focused on what you are doing at the time whilst in a submissive role. In Lee's scene, someone talked about liberation from expectations. As being a human adult comes with loads of expectations. They talked about actually doing those dirty things everybody wishes they could, acting out in ways that we want to but society tells us we shouldn't, and creating a space to be different and do other than society's narrow expectations of you. There are several types of relationships that may be considered when thinking about pups. A handler or owner is in the dominant role to the pup's submissive role. They may take this role for either an individual play session, over a longer period, or the relationship may be a committed one. The handler is the pup's caregiver, protector, as well as providing training and rules for the pup. Again, this dominant submissive relationship may be more or less sexual. Other important relationships might be a family group or a pack of pups. Within the pack, there is likely to be a hierarchy operating, with an alpha pup being the most dominant and the omega pup being the least. Pups either choose a role in the hierarchy or slot in and find a role that suits them. Wrestling for dominance in the pack might be part of the fun. Wignall and McCormack describe these inter-pack relationships as a lighter form of dom-sub relationships, more playful and with more leeway. As mentioned before, the pup community has a large online community, with Twitter playing a big part. Partly because on Twitter you can communicate with lots of people at once for organising and socialising, and privately, with both an immediate response and information stored over time. Liam Wignall calls it Pup Twitter, where pups meet, make friends, give and receive advice, organise attending social events, flirt, post images, both sexual and otherwise, and communicate generally. Typically, photos and videos of themselves are posted with their face hidden and real life or non-pup identity concealed. People have different approaches to how much of their non-pup self they reveal on Pup Twitter. According to Wignall, a person's pup identity is often not disclosed widely to the family and their social circle, and may be kept within the pup's pup social circle. This strategic and partial disclosure is probably linked to people perceiving it to be stigmatised in the broader culture. The getting, making and wearing of pup gear is generally an important part of the puppy identity. Much of it is specially made. A pup is likely to wear a dog mask or pup hood, which is made of either rubber or leather. It looks like a dog's head or muzzle, and which provides some degree of anonymity if wanted. A dog-style collar is typically also worn. Other dog-related gear may be worn, such as gloves for hands and feet, maybe boxing gloves, that give an appearance of paws, and also harnesses, a lead and knee pads, often in leather or rubber. Some may have a tail, often attached to a butt plug, which can be wagged. The puppies I communicated with wanted it to be known that they were speaking for themselves and not representing the rest of the community, and they emphasise the importance of clinicians asking their client about what being a pup means to them, and perhaps how they see being a pup fitting in within a broader context of kink and fetish. Thank you for watching this video, and another big thank you to the puppies who responded to my request and generally gave their time and thoughts and images.